Kris, will Kasperi Kapanen play today?
Yes, he will play.
And are you able to confirm a starting goalie?
Ingram is starting goalie.
Any other lineup changes?
No, that's all.
The other night you said that, yes, we scored a lot of goals, but we also checked really well. What needs to continue in order for that to happen today?
Well, I think it starts with the intensity of our shifts, and to do that, you got to roll them over and not stay out there too long. And I think we did that for the most part the other night against LA. And most of good defensive hockey is playing with a lot of intensity, working hard, winning your battles, stuff like that. And you can't do that if you're extending your shift, playing tired. And I thought we did a pretty good job with our changes, and just playing with that pace.
Over the last couple of weeks, we got to see Connor play really well with Macklin Celebrini. What impresses you most about Celebrini?
I'm not sure if there's any one thing. He's obviously a very smart player, very difficult to check. He's elusive, good skater. Probably one thing that really surprised me is how dangerous his shot is. Just being able to sling those pucks with a lot of velocity from around the slot. Very few guys can score from distance, and he has that ability. So I just think he's a pretty good all-around player.
They scored 13 goals in this road trip so far. One of the traits of this team is the more they score, the less the more they want to score. How about that? As a head coach, what would your focus would your focus be trying to emulate that one in LA more than the 8, perhaps?
Well, I think for us to be able to score 8, we have to defend like we did in LA, and most teams will tell you your offensive opportunities come from good defensive play. You're checking the puck back and you're countering quickly. And, the other night in LA, I saw it on the bench where guys were very committed to playing defense at the end of the game. And you could hear the guys on the bench not wanting that second goal to go in. They didn't want it to be 8-2. They wanted to keep it at 8-1 just because of a lot of pride in our defensive game, and they understand that if we are going to have success, especially in the playoffs, it is hard to score, and the best teams are able to play good defensive hockey. We need to play good defensive hockey.
For your goalies, I know that during the season you guys tend to map out till the end of the month or whatever it is, who's going to play when. Now that we're into the stretch run, does that change? Do you go with guys that are hot? Does anything change?
Typically, you do go with you map it out, and you kind of have a pretty good idea who's going to start which games. I would say this year has been an outlier. I think we've had a lot of variety, a lot of change of plans of who's going to play. But right now, with the way we are in the standings and so many games so important, I think we're going to go with the goalie who we feel is playing his best at that time.
In the last matchup, the Sharks were able to get an early jump on you, at your building, but then you were able to come back. I mean, what does that do for your team? Do you feel a lot of confidence here at the SAP Center, where even if the Sharks get jumped, you have a chance to come back and win the game here?
I liked their resilience that came back, and we're able to. We were down. I believe it was 3-0, and then. Tied up late in the game, but I think that was such a long time ago. Before the break, that we played a lot of hockey, and so was San Jose. But overall, I think no matter if it was San Jose or whoever it is, I think we have a lot of confidence in being able to come from behind in situations like that. But the fact that was last game, I don't think it has much relevance to today.
And Sharks have 3 matchups against you coming up, so they see this game as a very critical game depending on their standings. So what do you think about the whole matchup, and do you think Sharks going to be able to sort of get a bounce on you here?
Absolutely, it is a very important game, and for them, in their mind, to win, to catch us, because there's a team that they've got to pass some teams to make the playoffs, and we're looking at it as here's a team that's just right behind us on our heels, and we would like to create a little more separation, and being able to win games like that, on this stretch or this road trip for us, Anaheim, LA, San Jose, almost identical situations where we're almost tied or just maybe a point or two ahead of them, that it's important that we win as many games, especially against teams that we want to stay above in the standings.
Because of how fast Connor McDavid plays, maybe it can sometimes be difficult for players to play with them. So, can you describe just maybe the challenge of that, and were you surprised that Macklin Celebrini was able to do that so well?
Yeah, I think a lot of players, compliment him. I don't necessarily think you need to be a fast skater. I think it's really important that you think fast. And Celebrini is obviously a smart player. He doesn't have a season like he is without being that type of player. But I think just being a player that can read off Connor and be able to get him the puck, I think that's what is the best match for Connor. Somebody who could, break the puck out well and, go to the net. Obviously, somebody who can score goals, that kind of thing. We look at our players, too, that complement Connor the best, and Hyman and Nuge, they've been playing with him for a long time. Hyman's really good on the wall, and obviously scoring goals. Nuge is good at facilitating plays. He's able to read off what Connor wants, where he's going, and is able to make that next play. So I'm not surprised Macklin was a good complement to Connor.